All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, there is a cost to inaction. And I think the problem with some people who call themselves leaders, presidents or politicians, whoever they may be, one of the biggest problems is they don't play to win any game, they play not to lose. So they say to themselves, you know, we've got this country. You'll figure it out in a second, but let's say country X. And this country is threatening our country with a device that could end our country as we know it economically, financially, kill millions of people. They're trying to acquire this weapon that would do this to us, country X. They have clearly stated their ambitions to do said thing. So they're not bullshitting. They've already said, like, we want to do this and have taken actual steps to acquire said weapon to annihilate us. However, because this has been going on for decades in a stop-start manner, you see this kick the can down the road, to use the said cliche, however, it's true, kick the can down the road effect. Well, am I going to take a political hit over this if I do something? I will. But I should do it because it's the right thing. But it's not the easy thing because I'll take a political hit if I am, say, a leader of said country worried about another country X trying to annihilate us with weapon X, right? It's easier to sit back and do nothing because so many people have done nothing when that country launches weapon X at us and annihilates a major city and starts a global thermonuclear war. Nobody's probably going to blame you specifically because you were one of 5 or 6 different presidents or leaders or whoever it may be that had done nothing in the past. So it takes major league moose balls to go out and actually do something that's going to cost you politically, knowing that you can sit back and rest on your ass and do nothing and probably not suffer politically for it. Folks, however, it's kept me up at night all the night. I sleep fine, whatever. I hate that saying. But if there was one thing the last year or so showed me that changed my mind, it's this. This is not some hypothetical scenario I'm laying out to you with Iran, and you could probably put 2 and 2 together, and their desire to acquire a nuclear weapon to use. I want to be clear on this. The Russians have nuclear weapons. China has nuclear weapons. We have various nuclear weapons in Europe, Pakistan. We don't freak out every single day over it because we understand there's an agreement that we will not use these unless these things happen. We avoid those things. You can't say that with the Iranians. They're like, we don't care if these things happen. We're just going to kill you guys. So I thought this could help today. I found a video on trigonometry, Konstantin Kissin's podcast with Eric Weinstein, where they talk about, just like a minute or so clip, about what exactly would look like if and when nothing's done, the Iranians acquire a nuclear weapon and use one, what exactly a nuclear holocaust would look like. And I think you're going to say to yourself, right, Justin, that really sucks. I don't want that. Hence, I'm actually wearing the Don't Get Dead shirt today because Justin beat me to the punch and wore it yesterday. And I was like, you know what? I got to bring that back. So I don't want to get dead. So I do things to not get dead. I try to work out. I try to eat healthy. I try not to walk into high crime areas late at night by myself for no good reason. I don't want to get dead. I don't want you to get dead. The golden rule of the Dan Bongino Show, someone sent me a Dan Bongino Show rules inside, didn't they? And the number one rule at the top is don't get dead. Don't do things to help you get dead. Like sit there on your ass while a country threatens us with nuclear weapons and tries to get them. I'll play that for you. I got a lot. They just did a press conference. I got a quick piece of that, but I'm going to show you what's going on right now with the blockade. A new poll that came out. Folks, all the bullshit you're seeing out there from the doomers, the black pillars, the, woke right, whatever you want to call them. I can't believe President Trump's forfeiting his whole coalition. Everybody's leaving Trump. Can you please, in the name of all that's holy, can you please back that up with an actual data point? because I have data points. They're called polls, and they're polls that aren't even friendly to Donald Trump. And these polls are saying you're full of shit. That is not happening at all. It is legit just you, this pocket of doomers, maybe like 1% to 4% max of people who pretend to be Republicans who are saying like the end is near. It's just not true, man. It's just you. You're sitting there in your own echo chamber on each other's podcast telling everybody how shitty everything is, but it's just you saying it. Data points, like actual data points. All right, got a lot to get to today. Hey, looking for reliable service? Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile. I have Patriot Mobile. I love it. The service is spectacular. They offer nationwide, fantastic coverage on major networks. Simply switching and US-based support. If you want to switch, go to patriotmobile.com/Dan. Paula has it too. The service is spectacular. The customer service is spectacular. Great. patriotmobile.com/Dan. Check them out. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Can't Get Up in the Morning Without My Blackout Coffee. We love Blackout Coffee. I drink about 2 or 3 cups a day. Your caffeine consumption's up to you. I want a coffee that tastes bold, but is not bitter. There's nothing worse than bitter coffee. But I want the coffee to taste like coffee, not brown water. That's why I choose Blackout Coffee. I enjoy working with them. If you want your coffee strong, smooth, and roasted for maximum flavor, then Blackout Coffee is for you. Blackout Coffee is a proud America First company. They roast their beans right in the USA, ship them fresh to your door. The coffee is delicious. Their blends are bold, full-bodied, and crafted for people who take their coffee seriously. If you want brown water, go somewhere else. You want strong, bold, great-tasting coffee? Blackout Coffee. Their medium dark roast delivers a strong flavor without any of that bitterness. It's smooth, powerful, gives you that extra boost you need to stay focused throughout those long days. I love their subscribe and save option. You never run out of coffee. Comes right to your door. Swap flavors, pause or cancel at any time. Get deep discounts plus free shipping. It's a great company. I love America. Earn reward points at every purchase you can redeem for future orders. Save some money. It's convenient, saves you money, saves you time. They have whole bean, ground, flavored coffees, espresso, single serve options. So there's something there for everyone. If you drink coffee, there's only one coffee for you. Blackout Coffee. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Get 20% off your first order. It's a big savings when you use code Bongino. That's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Code Bongino. Save 20%. Thank you, Blackout Coffee. Fellas, ding, ding. Again, don't get dead. I don't want to get dead. And I certainly don't want to get dead with a freaking mushroom cloud over anywhere near Martin County, Florida, or anywhere in the United States, or anywhere in the world for that matter. Nuclear holocaust is a really bad thing, and we should avoid it at all costs. Because, ladies and gentlemen, as has been said many times and is accurate, there is no winning a nuclear war. I'm going to recommend you a movie. I've done it before, but for those of you who are new to the podcast, I welcomed a few people in the chat this morning. Thank you for your kind words. That is me in the chat. It's not some scam we pull when other people pretending to be me. There's a movie on Netflix called The House of Dynamite. There's a left-leaning director. If you'll notice, there's like an Obama picture in the background. I don't care. It's actually, for a moment, it's worth checking out. It's a little dramatic, but in my experience dealing with Whizzer and everything else, the Situation Room, and the actual mechanics of it are not that off. It's a hypothetical scenario about what a nuclear launch towards the United States would look like and how the whole thing collapses into just minutes. Highly recommend it. And the only reason I recommend it, even though it's a little bit over the top and dramatic, and the ending is like, whatever, it is a wake-up call that this is a very real threat. The presence of nuclear weapons, of course, is not in dispute. The fact that the Iranians have nuclear material they want to convert into a nuclear weapon while chanting death to America is not in dispute either. They have a case of the for reals. Like, they're not kidding. My experience in government in the last year was eye-opening. Because when you see the timeline in the movie compressed down to 18 minutes, played over and over again, the 18 minutes may be a little bit brief. It may be a little longer than that. However, what I'm trying to tell you is if a nuclear weapon's launched toward the United States and you think there's hours to respond, you're crazy. There aren't hours to respond. And the problem is I think of even the things that happen, tragedies that are terrible, but are nothing compared to a nuclear launch towards the United States. That night, those 2 Israeli diplomats were shot in D.C., and my security detail was knocking on my apartment door in D.C. Folks, it took us 5 minutes to get out the door. Like 5 minutes, that's short. No, it's an eternity when you're dealing with maybe 20 minutes to respond to a nuclear launch. It took 5 minutes to get out the door before I woke up and processed what was happening. That was for a tragedy, but nothing on the scale of a nuclear war. And there's no winning a nuclear war. I want you to listen to this. It's about a minute, not long. This is Eric Weinstein with Konstantin Kisin on trigonometry, talking about how there is no scenario by which anybody wins the second one of these things is launched. Everyone loses, period. Check this out.
What are the long-term effects of these types of weapons? Does it mean that the land that they have been detonated on will never be able to bear fruit, etc.?
Well, my understanding is that the hydrogen ones are actually cleaner, that you really have gamma radiation in the form of photons that are very hard to guard against. And the other ones have these radioactive isotopes that linger on for forever. But I've never really cared that much about the post-war scenarios. My feeling is that once you get going, everything that you know about life as we've led it is gone.
So, and not to say nothing of the fact that, as we understand it currently, I think if you had nuclear war between major players, the tit for tat would actually end all human life on Earth, wouldn't it?
Even if it didn't. You're talking about setting back everything that we know of as life, as modern life, to levels that I don't know whether there's subsistence living or hunter-gathering or somebody's got some crazy compound, but I'm not going there. It's too much. And by the way, there's a comparable version of this for pandemic, and we're talking about playing with things where we're just not. If you saw what happened with COVID, it just took over the planet.
Folks, I'm a spreadsheets guy. I like to think I'm a rational maximizer who processes inputs to formulate a reason output. I don't like dumb cliches. I don't like, rules of thumb that aren't rules of thumb. People say ridiculous cliches like, well, you can't put a price on a human life. Well, people do that all the time. People take calculated risks. Follow me for a moment. This is important. Human beings take calculated risks and put a price on their life every single day. People who work in really, really dangerous businesses, whether it's the military, whether it's police officers, construction workers, where that's a really dangerous field. They understand they could die. They have put a price on their life. That's not a statement of immorality. It's a statement of fact. It's actually a statement of bravery that they say, wow, there's a good chance within context, I could die in this job in the military or construction, and I do it anyway because I have to support my family. I'll give you another example. You can all understand. You can't put a price on a human life. You do it every day. There are people who go out and get on planes every day knowing that occasionally, sadly, a plane crashes. It's rare, but it's not zero. It happens. You have determined that that risk is worth it for you to travel on a vacation or go on a business trip and make money. You made that decision. You put that price on your life. I bring that up because allowing the Iranians to get a nuclear bomb that would end all of civilization, your kids, your grandkids, you, your dog, your pet parakeet, you're all dead. And if you're not dead, as Weinstein just stated, you're at most subsistence living until you die of probable radiation poisoning or a horde of lunatics raping your wife and killing you because there's no law enforcement and society breaks down. That chance is not even close to zero. You give the Iranians a nuclear weapon, the probability of a nuclear exchange is realistically probably 5 to 10%. And you're willing to take that chance because you hate Donald Trump? Do you understand how insane that is? Think about the risk calculus. You would take the nuclear weapon out of it, keep the 5%. Say it's 3%. If I told you, this just goes to show you how crazy Trump derangement syndrome is. that he's effectively taken out the Mullah regime and is doing his best to neuter this nuclear threat right now. If I told you getting on a plane out of Jacksonville Airport that, hey, there's a 3% chance this plane's going to crash today, don't bullshit me. There is 0 people in the chat, 0 who are getting on that plane. Why? Because there's a 3% chance. Like, that's a lot considering a black swan event but I could die. Like, the end, that's the end. Don't get dead. I don't understand, though. You've got a probably better than 3% chance if the Iranians get a nuke that they'll use it or try to use it, and you're mad at Donald Trump for trying to do something about it? Folks, I'm sorry, I don't get this. Oh, you're a supporter of Donald Trump. That has nothing to do with it. We do not agree on everything. That's fairly obvious. But I'm a huge supporter of his leadership and the willingness to have the balls to do something about a threat that tons of other leaders, both Republicans and Democrats, have done nothing about because there was a political consequence for them. Whatever, say all the bad shit you want about Donald Trump if you're a crazy liberal talking head. But can you at least acknowledge this was a very real threat that finally someone had the gonads to do something about? Folks, I know it's not the biggest news day in the world. However, this is probably one of the most important stories of our time. So it is the biggest news day in the world because it involves an existential threat to your life, the life of your kid, and your grandkid. And that's a fact, Jack. That experience over the last year changed me. Would it change you too? It's not unique to me. Again, I don't spend entire shows talking about it, and you know that. But you want to talk about someone who went in there and just saw something totally different than what I thought existed? This threat is real. Anyone telling you otherwise is lying to your face. And if you think the government, even under the finest leadership, the perfect leader if there was one, time is not your friend. You launch one of these things. They're in that movie, there's the national security advisor is getting like a colonoscopy and is under anesthesia. They can't reach him. You don't think that's going to happen throughout the government? I don't care how good the leaders are. You really want to take that chance? I'm sorry, but I don't. The world has hostages, my 2 kids. And I'm not taking that chance. I don't care how much you hate Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump and support his leadership and think he's been a bold and decisive guy. I'm not willing to take that chance with the freaking nuclear sword of Damocles hanging over our heads forever. I'm not doing it. That's why you see things like this blockade. We've had some tragic U.S. casualties, no doubt, and thank the Lord for these heroes who've given their lives in service of this great country. But we've not had casualties anywhere close to major wars we've had in the past. We now have a blockade in effect where the Iranians are getting the double-barrel middle finger. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I addressed it with Levin and others yesterday. However, this has been an economic kick in the nuts to the Iranians, and they've shown militarily that there's nothing they can do. We've blockaded effectively their ports, not the entire strait, but their ports, for now a couple of days. And what have the Iranians been able to do? Almost nothing about it, which is demonstrated to the world, the Russians and the North Koreans, that their Iranian partner has no nuts. You ever see that scene in the original Ghostbusters? Nicholas scene? He is, in fact, has no. That's what they see about the Iranians. Here's about 20 seconds of Secretary of War Hegseth discussing how you can't. The Iranians, it's all bluster on their. How can you control the strait with no Navy and with our U.S. Navy controlling your ports? Just explain how this is happening. Check this out.
Of the strait, because we have real assets and real capabilities. And we're doing this blockade, performing it with less than 10% of America's naval power. The math is clear. We're using 10% of the world's most powerful Navy, and you have 0% of your Navy. That's real control, and we have a long track record of dealing with pirates and terrorists.
Secretary of War Hegseth he did an amazing job this morning in the presser. I'm a big fan, obviously. However, my job is to not be anyone's fan and be objective. I'm telling you objectively, putting that aside, he did an amazing job at the presser explaining that what the Iranians are doing right now with this fake bullshit line that they control the strait is they're not engaging in control. They're engaging in just piracy. Hey, pay us a toll like Blackbeard. Pay us a ransom or we're not going to let you go. That's all they're doing. And they can't even do that right. How stupid do you have to be to not even get the piracy part right? God forbid they give anybody credit about that. And I got to move on to a couple other things. However, just wrapping this up, folks, again, please, I'm begging you to be a data-driven person and be a rational maximizer. If you use reason, even despite emotional pleas from people to take positions that sound ridiculous, and you keep your compass true north, you will never, ever fall prey to golden calf politics and bullshit podcasters. I promise you. I promise. And you will do your best to not get dead. People out there are telling you, oh my gosh, with this war, it's so unpopular. The Republican Party is just leaving the MAGA movement in droves. There is simply no evidence of that. I don't know. What is this, Justin? Like our 5th or 6th poll we put up? Probably more. I don't know how many times we have to tell you this. If you're reading X, and I love X, thank you, Elon, for X, but there's no doubt that social media platforms in general, not X specifically, but they have the issue too. It's a general problem. They have a botting problem. Everybody does. So you're given a false impression sometimes on X and elsewhere based on bots and other things. They're not all bots at all. I'm not saying that. There are some people with principled objections. I get it. You're getting this impression that the MAGA coalition is falling apart. You're like, why? Well, because I heard it on X. Well, it's just not true. Here's a Quinnipiac poll. Quinnipiac, right? They're big friends at Trump. They love Trump. I'm obviously being sarcastic. Quinnipiac, Republicans only. President Trump's approval, 88%. Military action against Iran, support, 86%. Trump's net approval on key issues, the economy, plus 79. Iran, plus 73. Folks, I'm sorry. You're just lying to people. You're lying to. Do you have a data point? You keep saying this. The coalition's falling apart. It's fracturing. All these people are leaving. Some podcaster told me that this is the worst decision he ever made. Everybody's leaving. No one's going to show up. Oh, okay. Okay, sure. Now, I will concede this. I am concerned about the midterms because Donald Trump is not on the ballot. But that's more of a reflection of the Republican Party in general not moving along the Trump agenda than it is of President Trump. The numbers do not reflect that. You're just making it up. Folks, you have two choices coming up in these midterms. I saw someone in the chat earlier. They said, Dan, you got to remind people about the 10, 10, and 10 rule. Folks, before the midterms that are coming up in November, they are right around the corner, okay? You have got to call 10 friends, email 10 friends, and make 10 social media posts about how they can vote and where they can vote. You have to do it. I'm sorry. You have to do it. We can't win if we don't take actual action. You have to do it before November. I'm begging you to do it. It's not for me. I'm not running for anything. I'm just here because I like doing this show. Because you have a choice. You have decisive leadership. You have a growing economy. You have inflation relatively under control. You have a controlled border. You have the safest United States you've ever lived in. That's a fact. Those are actual data points. You have pretty decent, solid party approval about his decisive action in Iran, or you have total chaos on the other side. You have this tax the rich bullshit, this defund the police nonsense, this open borders crap. They're talking about it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, contrasts matter. It's not good enough to say what we did. It's also a key component of elections to explain to people what the other side looks like if they win. This may seem out of left field. I promise it is not. This is what chaos looks like. I don't know how many of you saw this, but it looks like ESPN is doing some kind of O.J. Simpson documentary. Unbelievably, they grabbed one of the jurors from the infamous O.J. case. They grabbed one of the jurors who admits to, is this even criminal? Like, I can't believe this woman said this on camera. The woman admits on camera that a lot of the jurors thought OJ had murdered Nicole, but let him off anyway because it was payback for like the system or something. Why bring this up? Because, ladies and gentlemen, when institutions collapse, when faith in institutions collapse, like this lady claims to have lost faith in it. I lost faith in the LAPD show, but this was our revenge. This is what you get. You get power versus power. I have power. I am a juror. I am going to use that power in an unethical, immoral, and evil manner to let someone I thought murdered someone off because I'm in power right now. Do you really want that? You want chaos? Because that's the option if we lose this election. This is one of the craziest things. I can't believe this lady admitted to this on camera. This is shocking. Check this out.
Do you think that they're members of the jury that voted to acquit OJ because of Rodney King?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
How many of you think felt that way?
Oh, probably 90% of us.
90%? Did you feel that way?
Yes.
That was payback.
Uh-huh.
You think that's right?
Payback, folks. That's what happens when you elect people who don't believe in order, in rules. That's what a constitutional republic is. It is a representative democracy, rules-based, order-based system where we don't convict innocent people of crimes because of payback. When you get into a situation where there's total chaos, an open border, street crime out of control, and you dissolve the Constitution and weaponize institutions and people lose faith, what do? When they get power, they hoard it and they use it as a payback retribution system. That's what's around the corner. Or you could contrast that with the president we have right now, President Trump, and actual results in an order-based system. For all the talk about Donald Trump being like a racist, a fascist, or fascist, if you watch yesterday's show, and a monarch and a king, this guy's the worst racist I've ever seen, Donald Trump. Black voters flocked to him in droves, the first Republican candidate to get these kinds of numbers. Hispanic voters, too. If he's a king, I don't understand. When he loses at the Supreme Court, they do this crazy thing. Have you noticed this, guys? They abide by the Supreme Court ruling. It's nuts. But then he says things on Truth about it. What do you care? He abides by the ruling. Democrats don't do that. Democrats find end arounds. Here are some actual results from just lucky Donald Trump. This is going to be like a segment going on. Everything, you notice this? Every good result, spreadsheets, man. Every good result, they tick down that Excel spreadsheet. Donald Trump, 0 border crossings, illegal migrants admitted into the country, safest United States in U.S. history, low PPI inflation number yesterday. Every single thing, they're like, lucky Trump. I told Justin, you got to put together some like graphic. Trump, you know when you win in the casino and the money, they spread it out like a fan? Like this guy's the luckiest guy ever. He's the worst racist king fascist we've ever seen. But there he is. Oh, you already did it. There he is. Lucky Trump. The guy's just, it's actually pretty good. That's quite good. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, who did that? Grok did that? Thank you, Grok. Elon, thank you I love Grok. Grok will come up later in the show, too. There's lucky Trump again. Of course I'm being sarcastic. Of course it's not luck. But even if you're a Democrat, what's that old saying, guys? You know, I hate cliches. Better be lucky than good. Even if you believe that. Even if you believe that. I'd still rather have the lucky guy. Here are some results, just quick. Here's Zero Hedge. Can I follow it? Zero Hedge on X. America's never exported more oil. Total U.S. exports jumped to record levels. Man, lucky Trump, guys. Josh, this guy's so lucky. He's at it again. It's amazing. He puts like a dollar credit in the slots machine down at the Hard Rock in Fort Lauderdale, and he hits the jackpot 7 times in a row. Look, there's an actual chart. Oil exports up like crazy. S&P, NASDAQ, Dow Jones recovering their temporary losses from this is amazing. Lucky Trump. This guy's so lucky, man. The art of the deal. It's just lucky. Guy gets lucky. It was amazing. Here's a lucky Trump again. Here's a Steve Moore tweet. This is pure luck, guys. I guess they all like evaporated into thin air. For the first time ever, despite Republicans and conservatives for years talking about shrinking the size of the bloated federal government workforce and never doing it, actually growing the federal workforce, even under Republican presidencies, Stephen Moore notes Trump's delivering what Washington never could or would, a smaller government. Nearly 300,000 fewer federal workers in just a year. More leaving than joining. Promises made, promises kept. This is luck. And lucky Trump again. Unbelievable. Now he got the hat on. Look at this guy. This guy is just so lucky, man. And folks, it's all an accident. A shrinking federal workforce, despite decades of conservative and Republican, conservative think tank, by the way, and Republican Party promises, we're going to shrink government. It's finally actually shrinking. Look at this. We actually got the numbers right there. It's called data. It's like a data point. Incredible. Lucky Trump. What do you think happened, guys? They just left. It's just luck. One day they came in and they like flipped one of those Harvey Dent two-faced coins and they were like, I think I'm just going to leave. I think I'm going to leave. It's just luck. Lucky Trump, man. Guy's so lucky. It's incredible. Never seen anything like it. Hits 20, 30 jackpots in a row. And what's the Democrats' response? I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to show you. Again, contrast. We have an election coming up. You have a choice. It's a binary. Republicans or Democrats. Republicans or Democrats. You have a choice. What are the Democrats doing? They're singing again. No, they're not. Yes, they are. I debated even playing this. The clip is like a minute. I was like, we can't do that. Matter of fact, little behind the scenes, me and the team here, we do a pre-show. You know, here's what I'm going to do. Here's where we're going to go with the show and all the stuff. And I give them all the elements. So I usually play the elements to make sure like we don't screw it up. Justin's like, I can't play this. I'm like, we really should because I want to make sure it's the right clip. He's like, I'm sorry, I can't listen to this. I said, okay, I'll take a chance. You know it's the right one. His ears are, he promised me it's the right clip. They're singing again. Massive oil exports, growing economy, border shutdown, safest United States in history. Iranian mullahs dead, Maduro in a prison, federal job workforce shrinking. It's all luck. And what do the Democrats do? They're singing and talking about defunding the police. And Mamdani's doing doxing videos in the middle of the street in New York, doxing the rich people that pay the taxes in New York City. It's your choice, bro. You want to get dead quick? Vote Democrat. You want to not get dead? Vote Republican. Quick break. Hey, my friends at My Patriot Supply just told me something that should get your attention. They're slammed right now. You know why they're slammed? I think this war in Iran has opened up people's eyes to the possibility that these threats are really real. I am a preparedness guy. I make zero apologies for it. I tell everyone, I'm prepared. I'm not trying to be rude, but don't knock on my door if you don't prepare. I'll take care of the friends and neighbors, but I'm warning everyone, like, be prepared. There is nothing wrong with buying preparedness items, food and supplies, having them, and hopefully never needing them. There's something really wrong with needing them and having none of them. Orders are pouring into My Patriot Supply at levels they haven't seen since the Biden years. You can probably tell why. That tells you everything you need to know. People get worried and concerned, and they're getting prepared just like me. I have been for a long time. This is not some shtick we put on for an ad. I love this company. I buy a lot of their stuff. We have a whole section of the house with their stuff. The question is, are you prepared? Because there seems to be a lot of instability out there right now, and who knows where it will go. Who's going to save you if things go sideways? The answer is nobody. There's no plan for you, but there's definitely a plan for them. You have to prepare yourself. You guys know My Patriot Supply. They're an amazing company. They've been with me since the beginning. They're one of my original sponsors because I'm a customer there too. And My Patriot Supply, feel free. Just don't give out my credit card number. You can show all my orders. They're the original Patriot preparedness company. Have their water filters, everything. Right now, go to preparewithdan.com. Get a 3-month emergency food supply. Please do it today. They'll include a mega protein update, so you get your amino acids, and an incredible $200 bonus. You can't beat that deal. Go to preparewithdan.com. Get a 3-month packet for everyone in your family. Get your emergency food supply handled, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. It's really that simple. I'm proud to be aligned with this company. Preparewithdan.com. Go today. Preparewithdan.com. Thank you, My Patriot Supply. We appreciate it. Okay, Justin, but this is it. This is your alternative, folks. They're singing again. I wouldn't play this if it didn't happen all the time. Why are they always singing? Check this out.
3, 4. for one. We see that there's a wrong to be righted to. We know that we are stronger when united. Three, we exercise our right to assemble.
Why are you torturing the audience? I think I told them 20 seconds. All right. This is thank you, libs of TikTok, Chaya, for putting this out there. This is what democracy looks. No, this is what stupidity looks like. This is what if this is what Democrats and quote democracy, with the irony is Democrats are not involved in democracy at all. If there were totalitarians, it's Democrats. These are the idiots you have to choose between in this election coming up. Folks, you'd be singing too, of course, if your entire platform. These guys are like dancing in there too. The audience is. You got to see the chat. We got Muttley's blowing up the chat. Who just said that? What a good-looking group. I smell the sarcasm through the iPad. Good job in the chat. If there was ever a time for Muttley's, that's it. But folks, seriously, you'd be singing too. If your entire platform of chaos, and I do mean chaos on the Democrat side, if your entire platform was built around economic chaos, taxing wealthy citizens out of your cities, defunding the police so people can beat the shit out of you, murder you, home invade your house, burglarize your home, an open border, as I said before, confiscatory taxation so you lose all your money, if that's what your platform was built on, and global warming hysteria, you'd be singing too. Here's another one. I can't emphasize this point to you enough, that the price of being stupid in the future, i.e. being a liberal Democrat, talking about wealth taxes, defund the police, the price of being stupid is going to get dramatically higher because people have AI now. AI can instantly look up this stuff. And you may say, well, we had search engines in the past. Okay, fair point. Follow me. Folks in the chat, everyone needs to listen to this. Yes, we did have this in the past. If you were to say something in the past, like I'm going to play this video for you in a second, of the Wisconsin Secretary of State, if you were to say something in the past like, climate change, we're all going to die, look at this hail outside my house. Oh my gosh, this is definitely climate change. And Justin were to go to say Google or a search engine that had histories of bias. The first, Justin, 100 pages are liberal articles about how we're all going to die? Yes, you could find it if you wanted to spend all day. The problem now with AI is you can't ask AI to produce a reasoned outcome but not use reason and lie. You can't. You can, but no one's going to use the platform because that ignore conservative viewpoints on global warming will filter into other mechanisms of the AI, accounting decisions, everything, and the AI will be useless. I'll show you what I mean. Play this video. This is really quick. Here's this Wisconsin Secretary of State making the claim here that the hail outside of our house is somehow related to climate change. A statement you probably heard 1,000 times, but a statement that's very expensive now politically with AI. Check this out.
Republicans say we don't have climate change, but this is golf ball-sized hail in my front yard. This is not normal, and we can't keep ignoring our environment.
Yeah, lady, it is normal. It's actually quite normal. We see hail in the United States quite often. Justin, you ever seen hail before? Amazing. Josh, you? Yeah, me too. I actually saved my daughter's car one day. It's Florida. It's incredible. It's hot. We have hail. It's amazing. Clearly the world's going to end. Global warming. We're all going to die. The polar bears are all dead. So, because Grok, I use a lot of AI systems to kind of check on where they are, and sometimes I'll compare answers. I find Grok to be the fairest AI out there that uses actual reason. So I just did something really simple. I've been doing over and over on the show, showing you how stupid has a cost now. I went into Grok and said, hey, this is an actual screenshot of my phone, by the way. Has climate change caused more hailstorms? No, climate change does not cause a clear, globally consistent increase in the overall frequency of hailstorms. It goes on and on. You can just read the data yourself. I said to Justin, I don't plan on doing the show forever. I enjoy doing the show. I don't know what I would do without it, but at some point, I'm, going to go back into the investment space. And I said to Justin this morning, the nice part is you're not going to need this show in the future. You're not, because you can do this stuff yourself. I'm quite glad to do it and make it easy for you now, but you're not going to need the show in the future because you can just go to Grok and instantly fact check anything without the filter of old school search engines that would only give you bullshit. It's getting really expensive to lie. Oh, did we? Jim, I'm sorry. Producer Jim was going to use that for Democrat Zen. Sorry, Jimbo. Sorry, buddy. You're going to have to find some new material. My sincere apologies. So if the biggest Democrat fairy tale that's going to get really expensive moving forward is the world's going to end due to global warming, which we know is bullshit, and you can look it up. Hail, oh my gosh, we're all going to die. Global warming. Look, there's hail in my yard. You never seen hail? Next time we get a hail in Florida, you know, I'm going to put it in the freezer because it's like 100 degrees down here. And I'm going to bring it in. What do you think, fellas? We have a fridge in the studio with a freezer. And I'm going to show you it. We actually have hail down here, too. We'll title the show that day, The World is Ending. We have evidence. And we'll put a little piece of hail on the show. And the Wisconsin secretary says, see, Bongino agrees. The second greatest underneath the global warming hoax, right? Bullshit line liberals tell you, that is going to get more expensive in the future as people have instant fact check AI available right there at their fingertips, is going to be the rich don't pay their fair share bullshit while never telling you what the actual fair share is. Folks, this is not hard. The Democrats are very good at coordinating a message. Now, this is not an accident. I'm not saying they're in a room together smoking cigars. I'm just telling you, they, for the midterms, want to dramatically hike your taxes. The only way to hike your taxes is to play the envy game, that there is a group of people out there, the evil billionaires and millionaires, who are somehow getting over on you. Now, I've never been able to understand their reason. If the reasoning here, I get the envy. I know what they're doing. They're lying to you. The rich don't pay their fair share. They're trying to get you to hate the rich so you can steal more of their money. I understand that. However, the logic is obscene. Did you guys ever think about this? Josh, you probably never heard this. Justin, you have. But so your thesis is that the rich got rich at your expense and stole your money. And they stole it from the poor. But if the poor don't have any money, how did the rich take it? Justin's like, I never heard that before. I'm just asking. If your thesis is evil rich people don't pay taxes and stole your money to get rich, where'd they get the money from? I thought it was the poor people they saw. kind of weird, huh? I know. It's a good point. Justin's like, I try not to think. I don't want to get dumber. I just want you to ask your liberal friends that. If the rich stole it from the poor, how did they get it from the poor if the poor didn't have anything to steal? Weird. And then you may say, if you're a reasonably intelligent liberal, which is rare but does happen, well, they gave them their money. Well, how? Well, those rich people produce like a product. Oh, that people want to buy because they felt it would improve their lives, like a computer or a Tesla car or something? Oh, so they engaged in a free market transaction where both parties were made better, or they wouldn't have given them the money. This is like weird explaining capitalism to morons. So there's a coordinated effort out there for an envy-based tax to go and take more money from rich people who provide jobs, ideas, and produce products people want. You see it in this tweet by this moron Mamdani and this hack of a governor up in New York, Hochul. We will be taxing the ultra wealthy and global elites. There's Hochul underneath. If you have a multi-million-dollar second home in New York City, you can afford to join its residents in supporting the greatest city in the world. This dipwad Mamdani even did a video about it where he doxes Ken Griffin, the Citadel guy, for having a second home in New York. The greatest irony about this video is it goes to show you what a piece of garbage this Mamdani communist is. New Yorkers who voted for this guy, not the ones who did, you deserve everything you're getting as this guy crushes your economy. A guy like Ken Griffin, I don't even know Ken Griffin, okay? He goes and buys a very expensive piece of real estate in New York that Mamdani's saying is a second home. He pays ridiculous property taxes on the home. And here's the greatest irony. You guys thought this through. He doesn't even use the city services because he's not even there. He doesn't use the schools. He's not calling the police. He's barely putting garbage out front for the New York City Sanitation Department. And you're still bitching about it as he pays millions of dollars in taxes for services he's not even using. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So maybe he's upset about the no free buses he couldn't do or his $30 million supermarket. By the way, I told you, Ronnie, the construction guy who built this place, he reached out to me yesterday. He's like, hey, Mamdani, I'm offering my services for 1/10 of the cost. We can build you a supermarket. Here's Mamdani doxing Ken Griffin for a second home he doesn't even use. Check this out.
When I ran for mayor, I said I was going to tax the rich. Well, today, we're taxing the rich. I'm thrilled to announce we've secured a pied-à-terre tax, the first in New York's history. This is an annual fee on luxury properties worth more than $5 million, whose owners do not live full-time in the city. Like for this penthouse, which hedge fund CEO Ken Griffin bought for $238 million. This pied-à-terre tax is specifically designed for the richest of the rich, those who store their wealth in New York City real estate, but who don't actually live here. But even so, they're able to reap the huge financial rewards of owning property in, dare I say, the greatest city in the world. And most of the time, these units are sitting empty, since again, they don't actually live here. This is a fundamentally unfair system that hurts working New Yorkers. Now, it's coming to an end. This tax will raise at least $500 million directly for the city. It'll help fund things like free childcare, cleaner streets, and safer neighborhoods. As mayor, I believe everyone has a role to play in contributing to our city, and some a little bit more than others. Happy Tax Day, New York.
Guys, ladies, this is the dumbest mother in politics. This really is. This guy is so unbelievably stupid that I'm offended that you fell for this. If you are a liberal listening to my show, I am personally bothered that you're so dumb that you just listen to the various contradictions. And by the way, in his own, do we need the extreme close-up of Mamdani's face? What the hell was that? Let me tap on the camera. I don't need that in my life. I'm good. I don't need to see your nose hairs, okay? He's like, he bought this property to reap the benefits. He did the opposite. You're telling him, did you not say in a video he doesn't live there? What benefits is he reaping? He's paying you taxes using none of your service, you stupid. Yeah, thank you. We may lose. 50 cents. We may lose people. Justin just put the close-up up here. I don't need to see your nose hairs, buddy. We're good. You want to see how the coordinated message went out? Kathy Hochul, Mamdani, tax the rich. Here is the Democrat candidate for Senate in Texas with the same bullshit about how these rich millionaires and billionaires who pay almost all of the taxes are somehow getting over on you by stealing the money they're claiming you don't have because you're poor and being taken advantage of by the rich. None of it makes any sense. This is short, but here's Tallarico, another communist, running in Texas of all places on this. Check this out.
Today is tax day, and this year, nearly every American will pay more in taxes except for billionaires. For 50 years, billionaires have bankrolled political campaigns.
Unbelievable. This guy, Mamdani, Hochul, Newsom, all of them, are totally detached from reality. You can just go to Grok and look up yourself. Hey, Grok, who pays the majority of the income taxes in the United States? Liberals, stop being stupid. You can do this yourself. I know you don't want to, but you can try to not be stupid. Here's Elizabeth Warren of Pow Wow Chow fame. She's quite the chef, I hear. Here's Elizabeth Warren, another just absolute fraud and liar who's been a fraud and a liar her entire political career. She pretended to be a moderate early on. She puts out this tweet. Martin Shkreli, by the way, crushed her on this tweet. This tweet isn't even accurate. Most of these companies pay a significant amount of tax. However, forget that point for a second. She writes, this is Pow Wow Chow Warren. If you paid even a penny in federal income tax last year, you paid more than, and she goes through the companies, Tesla, Southwest, Disney, Live Nation, H&P, PayPal, whatever. She goes, that's right, they pay zero in federal income tax. Number one, keep that up a second. That's not actually true. She just does not know or ignored the fact she doesn't know how to read public filings because she's really stupid. And she says it's time for big corporations to pay their fair share. even if it was true, the reason some companies don't pay federal, notice she's not accusing anyone of breaking the law. Because if companies lose money or invest in property to grow their businesses, they can either depreciate or immediately expense that property, or if they lose money, they're not asked to pay taxes on money they lost. Because Elizabeth Warren's a freaking liar, she knows that, but she wants you to hate these companies. Here's a Geiger Capital post that explains, again, because I can keep using Grok over and over to make these people look stupid, but this is out there even by osmosis. Like if you're just on X, just passively reading, this tweet popped up and got a good amount of traffic the other day. Happy tax day. It's a good reminder that the top 1% of earners pay 46% of all federal income taxes, as we've said many times, and the bottom half pays just 2%. Of course, I know that gets in the way of your stupid narrative, Tallarico and Mamdani, but you can actually do research. This is John Mackey, this video of Whole Foods. He's on this podcast and he's giving this interview. It's about a minute. And he explains how this is probably one of the best 1 minute explanations of capitalism, which I would argue is not an ism at all. It's not like some belief system. Capitalism is simply the exchange of goods for a price you agree on, not a ration, the ability to exchange your labor for a wage, and the ability to own and manage your own private property. Like, that's not an ism at all. It's just freedom. Here's Mackey explaining capitalism for the liberals watching the show. Have a really hard time with this. This is a really good explanation. Check this out.
Capitalism created the possibility of the win-win-win. It used to be a zero-sum game where somebody won, somebody else lost. And the biggest mistake people make, intellectuals in particular, they still think we're in a zero-sum world. They're obsessed with some billionaires because Bernie Sanders thinks that Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk somehow stole the money from the people. They don't understand that it's this prosperity machine that's creating more, not just for those billionaires, but for everything that they're touching. They're creating value for their customers. They're creating value for their employees. Their suppliers are flourishing. Their investors are seeing their capital go up that can be reinvested in compound. All philanthropy ultimately comes from business. That's where the profits are.
Where's the money come from?
Where does all the taxes come from? It ultimately comes from business as well, whether you're taxing the employees who are flourishing. This is the engine that's lifting humanity out. And the entrepreneurs are the drivers of that engine. And somebody like Elon Musk, he gets a very, very, very tiny sliver of the value that he creates for the whole world.
If you create trillions of value for the world through SpaceX, through X, through Grok, through Tesla, and you're worth a couple $100 billion, you say, well, that's a lot of money. He's actually correct. By pure math, it's actually a fraction of the value he's created for everyone else. Correct? If you understand math. And what the Democrats don't want to tell you, contrast, you have a choice coming up in November. It's one or the other, folks. There is no perfect choice out there anywhere on planet Earth. You can only Pareto maximize, right? Help one person without hurting anyone else. Look that up in economics. One of the greatest things, you'll understand politics and why sometimes we don't vote for the better choice. We vote for the least worst choice. That's just the world we live in, of imperfect choices and trade-offs. You have a choice. You spend more money. More taxes equals more government spending, which equals more fraud. We've seen it over and over and over again. The government has almost zero incentive to stop spending your money fraudulently. The Nick Shirley stuff, we saw it yesterday. You want to see a contrast? Nick Shirley does this independent journalism piece that just sets the world on fire about all that Leering Center fraud in Minnesota. You remember the piece. I showed you a video yesterday of Carl DeMaio in the California House of Representatives, Assemblyman. California now wants to make Nick Shirley type journalism illegal because they don't want you to see what they're doing with your money while they're lying to you about taxes. I want to show you a contrast, however. I live in the state of Florida. This is our Attorney General here in this video. I met him at a speech I did. Terrific guy, doing a great job. So while California is trying to ban Nick Shirley and other folks, the O'Keefes of the world and others who do good independent journalism, have been for a long time, the state of Florida is actually additive. is going to the federal government and saying, hey, we're conservative, but we probably have a fraud issue too. There's fraud in businesses, there's fraud in government. We want to clean it up. They're doing the exact opposite. The state of Florida is like, how can we go and help you guys find more fraud in our own state? This is what the contrast. You want to vote for this or you want to vote for California? We're exposing fraud. You wind up in jail. Receipts, folks, they matter. Check this out.
I want to thank our partners across the government. I want to thank our law enforcement. They got their hands full here, everything from fentanyl cases and trafficking to a lot of these financial crimes, a lot of these public assistance crimes that maybe don't get the same news and attention as, you know, a heinous murder crime. But at the end of the day, a lot of this money is facilitating other crime. We've tracked a lot of this to the open border for years, which thankfully we've been able to shut down thanks to the Trump administration. But we're going to make some examples. If you're out there and you're thinking about stealing from the government through one of these programs, you better think again.
There's the Florida Attorney General bringing it. There's a contrast. You have a choice. Make investigating fraud illegal so more fraud can happen like California's doing, or move to Florida. And if you're a liberal, please don't move here. I'm begging you. Please, we like it here. Please don't come here. State's closed. Go somewhere else. Go to Illinois or go to New York with Mamdani. You can do all the liberal stuff you want. Or do you want to move to Florida where they are attacking fraud so vigorously, they're actually saying, hey, help us find this stuff. Even though we run the government, we realize there's always going to be a fraud issue anywhere. We want to shrink it. And he mentioned the border. You have a choice, right? Democrats or Republicans. Who is still one of the standard bearers of the Democrat Party? Hillary Clinton. I want you to show you how these people on the left stand for absolutely nothing. I swear to you, they lick their fingers, see where the wind is blowing, and they'll change their mind in a heartbeat. Here's a quick clip. Hat tip Mays more on this one. Here's Hillary Clinton back in 2014 talking about how, hey, children come here of illegals. We've got to set a standard. Rules matter, even if they're painful. We got to go by the rules, okay? Yeah, we may have to get rid of you if you were brought here illegally. And then I'm going to show you a tweet of Hillary Clinton just recently saying the exact opposite. Why? Because they don't believe anything other than power, like the OJ juror in the beginning. Check this out.
Should they be able to stay here? It's
well,
safer.
It may be safer, but that's not the answer. I do not.
Should they be sent back?
Well, first of all, we have to provide the best emergency care we can provide. We have children 5 and 6 years old who have come up from Central America. We need to do more to provide border security in southern Mexico.
They should be sent back now.
Well, they should be sent back as soon as it can be determined who responsible adults and their families are.
So they should be sent back, right? You're voting Democrat. Very few people in my chat, but liberals do watch the show. You're voting Democrat for people like Hillary, who's still an icon in the Democrat Party. Why, I don't know, just like Kamala Harris. Here's Hillary just the other day in a tweet. Totally different, changed position. So I'm sorry, what exactly are you voting for? Old Hillary, new Hillary? Hillary's debating herself. Terrible damage to children is being done in our name. What is this? Folks, everything these people tell you is bullshit. The only thing that liberals don't like about Donald Trump is the fact that he tells you the truth. That bothers you so much. I can't bring this point up enough. That what bothers liberals the most about Donald Trump is they contrast themselves with them. They're like, well, we lie to ourselves and our constituents all the time. And he just tells them the truth, even if he says it in a discursive and, pretty potent way sometimes on True Social. He's not kidding. When he gave the Iranians a warning, he meant it. When he gave Maduro a warning, he meant it. When he told you about tariffs, he meant it. When he told you he was going to shut down the border, he meant it. When he said he was going to slow the growth of the federal government, start cutting employees, he meant it. When he said he was going to try to impound unnecessary spending, he meant it. When he said he was going to crack down on crime, he meant it. It just bothers them because nothing they tell you is true. The OJ juror case, that's exactly who the Democrats are. Morals, principles, truth, none of that stuff matters. The only goal for them, endgame, is acquire power to abuse it as a payback retribution system against your political enemies. That is it. All right, I got some good stuff for you here. So this is just a complete shift of gears, but I with all the stuff going on out there, I don't want to miss these news stories either. Folks, I was at the UFC last weekend in Miami. It was a wonderful experience. Thank you to Reed, the UFC, Dana, Amber, the whole team down there. I love the UFC. The UFC on the 250th is going to have an event. You probably heard about it on the White House lawn. This is an amazing thing. I love it. I love the idea of meritocratic combat sports in the nation's capital on our 250th anniversary. It's just, for me, it is heaven. I love this idea. However, because the Democrats can't even have a little fun on the White House lawn. By the way, it was okay for Barack Obama to play basketball out there. God forbid we have some fights out there. The Democrats are already making up more fairy tales about the UFC. What are they telling you? This is all being done at the taxpayer expense. That is all BS. Here's Dana White on a podcast the other day explaining that they are paying for the whole thing. It's not costing you, the taxpayers, anything. Here, check this out.
We're paying the entire bill on all of this. Everything that you're seeing, not $1 of taxpayer money will go into this. And this is the UFC's gift to the 250th birthday of America. And I think one of the myths that I would like to crush is, I don't care if you're far right, far left, right down the middle, wherever you sit politically, because everybody sits somewhere politically these days. This isn't about politics. This is about the United States. What this country is about, how it was built, where we all came from. If you love America, you're going to love this event. It has nothing to do with politics. We just happen to be in the White House lawn, and the President of the United States will be there. So across the street from, and it's not far, from this structure, about 100 feet over across the road is the Ellipse, which is a massive park. And right now, people are already going, UFCFreedom250.com. Over 70,000 people have already, put in to try to get tickets. Tickets are free at the Ellipse, but it will be a
what is it? A field?
Like a lottery.
Is it a field?
Like a lottery.
Is it a field over there? Or where would they be at?
Yeah, it's a park.
That's the Pat McAfee show, and folks, it's incredible. Like, libs are just looking for a reason to be pissed off at the world. They just want to be angry all the time. We have the Friedman adage, you talk about liberty, talk about it with a smile. Liberals have the opposite. When you talk about America, talk about it with a frown. They get pissed off about anything, including, Dana doing this event on the White House lawn at their own expense, not charging the taxpayers anything to celebrate America's 250th. Can you just when they tell you as a kid, turn that frown upside down just once or twice? Why are you so angry all the time, libs? Why? You want to take people's money all the time? You're obsessed with what Elon Musk and Ken Griffin are doing? Here's an idea, libs. Smile a little bit and go get a job. Get a job. Go, I don't know if you're at home, you're watching tentacle porn like that weirdo reporter. I don't know what you're watching reruns of Teletubbies. I don't know what you're doing all day that you're so pissed off. But occupy, the online idle hands, the devil's playground. Do something. Get a freaking job. Take your ass out of the seat. Get your ass up, stand up, and go get a freaking job. Do something. Do anything. Volunteer. Occupy your cerebral cortex, the medulla oblongata, and your cerebellum. Get a freaking job. Stop worrying about Ken Griffin's home in Manhattan, Elon Musk's SpaceX and what taxes he pays. Get a freaking job. Produce value. The Lord Almighty gave you 2 hands, 2 dogs, and a freaking brain to go and add value. Go learn to be a carpenter. Learn how to speak Spanish. I don't know. Yo hablo español. Figure something out. You had this 90-year-old guy in the Wall Street Journal learning Italian. This op-ed I told you about. Why? They asked him, you're dying. Why are you learning Italian? He said, because I don't want to die without learning Italian. Liberals, do you want to die being mad at Dana White, the UFC, Ken Griffin, Elon Musk? Just freaking do something. Go work out. Get on like an elliptical or something. Go in a cold plunge. What? Why are you doing this to the audience again? Justin's right. This is what they like to do. They like to sing. Stop singing. Please stop singing. Stop torturing the audience. They're going to have nobody left. We're going to get massive unsubscriptions after today. Unsubscribes. We get 500,000 down after today. I do like the health and fitness space. That was an intentional segue, not all too clever. However, I do love health and fitness. Folks, let me give me your feedback in the chat instantly. We're going to watch it. I'm trying to diversify the guests a little bit. We're trying to do a couple a week. I don't want to do one every day. However, we're trying to do a couple guests a week, and I'm trying to diversify. One of the things I really want to do a shift to during the guest segments, not necessarily during the show. This is a political show, and it's going to stay that way. But I am really obsessed with the health hack stuff. I think it's really important. I think it's really good for our country in general that we got a generation of kids who aren't really drinking much anymore. I have a friend of mine. He owned a brewery. He said to me, he's a friend. I don't want to say too much, but he owned a brewery, and he was like, I got out. I was losing a ton of money. I said, why? The stuff was so good, and it was. He's like, the kids aren't drinking anymore, which, as much, which is a good thing. Like, alcohol is not good for you. I mean, do I drink? Yes, I occasionally, not often, but occasionally enough. It's a social lubricant, and you do, some good memories can be made, having a good time responsibly with your friends. But this new generation of kids are obsessed with the Maha movement, and that is really, really good. Everything from microplastics. What are those? Well, we're going to explain. We're going to start doing some of these guests, and we're trying to work out now, getting Dr. Rhonda Patrick on the phone, on the show, excuse me. She's incredible. I follow her stuff religiously. She's a really, really good data-driven, health hack. I don't want to call her an influencer. She's an educator, more like that. And here's just a quick clip of her talking about the danger, and I can't emphasize this enough, of processed foods. Folks, if you're eating a diet of like Doritos and hot dogs, the kilocalories you're taking in, the calories you're taking in are irrelevant. They really are. I mean, well, they're relevant, but the poisons and stuff you're putting in your body, not necessarily, I want to point out one specific brand, but by eating this junk is really terrible. Listen to Dr. Rhonda explain this far better than me. Check this out.
Because it was healthy young men, and researchers put them on a little bit of a calorically dense. So it was like they were eating 1,200 to 1,500 more calories a day, and it was high saturated fat, high sugar. So it was the processed foods, ultra processed foods, like, ultimate, right?
That's a lot of extra calories.
It's a lot of extra calories of 5 days. It is. But what happened was they did cause their brain to become insulin resistant, and they didn't gain weight, but they gained visceral fat, and they started gaining fat around their liver. And that's something that happens as well, because visceral fat is surrounding liver. You're getting a lot of free fatty acids, and they're going right to the liver, so the liver has to store it, right? So you get this non-alcoholic, fatty liver. And that happened after 5 days. I mean, without gaining.
In otherwise young, healthy.
Yeah.
Hat tip Andrew Huberman. He's another great educator. Again, I hate that term influencer for that back and forth. Folks, I'm going to tell you something. For a guy, again, obsessed with the cancer thing, scared the hell out of me. I worked out before cancer, but I got to tell you, I was not meticulous about my diet. The cancer, obviously changed my life. I changed my diet overnight because I was like, listen, if I'm going out, I'm not going out like this. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to extend my life. Processed foods make it really easy to overeat because they're just not natural. They've created a calorie monster. A yodel is not, there's no yodel tree. Remember yodels and Hostess cupcakes? I'm not telling you once in a while don't treat yourself. I'm not telling you got to live like a monk. I'm just telling you, like, that is not natural. There's not a Hostess cupcake tree. Nature doesn't make that. Nature foods, right? Nature, like eating cows, eating corn, eating spinach. Do you have any idea how hard it is to overeat? Have you ever tried to overeat salad and apples? It is really hard, really hard. It's really easy to overeat a bag of M&Ms. You could eat like 100 apples for like a bowl of M&Ms. It's hard to do. Eat natural, wholesome foods, clean them off, get the pesticides off it, and I promise your whole life's going to change. Mine did. I mean, I was done with that. That cancer thing, I'm like, who the hell knows what you're putting in your body? I know what I'm putting in my body if I eat a steak or an apple. I don't know what the hell's going in there with a bag of chips with 6,000 ingredients. So we're going to be doing more of that. I'm obsessed with health hacks. I was at the UFC, ran into Gary Brecka, who's great. That show we did with him went nuclear. We were talking about hydrogen water, glutathione, NAD, all of it. So I love this stuff. All right, folks, thanks again for tuning in. You got Haley coming up at noon. You can check her out at rumble.com/Haley, the Bongino Report Rumble channel. Or Vince, you can check out every day, hopefully both, at 8 a.m. Eastern, rumble.com/Vince. Please download the Rumble app. Folks, Rumble has changed the game. They have really figured out the live stream space. I was reading an article in Barrett Media, a great website, about how Netflix is having a lot of trouble with these live podcasts. We're not having any trouble at Rumble. We have a bunch of diverse viewpoints. We have Crowder. We have Tim Pool. You got our show. Here, you can check it out yourself. Why early Netflix data could have sports podcasts hitting pause. Rumble's got this thing figured out. Focus on the audience, keep the live chats feisty, give them a diverse viewpoint, fight cancel culture, and you're going to have a home. That's why the largest live streams are all on Rumble. Crowder, me, Tim Pool. We love it. So thanks for having us. And please download the Rumble app. It is free. Make it a part of your viewing day. Check us out every day at 10 a.m. on demand anytime. Or on the web, go to rumble.com/Bongino. Click that follow button. We'd really appreciate it. I will see you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m.
I'm Haley Caradia,
host of Vince,
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report,
live 8 a.m. Eastern weekday mornings,
weekdays at noon. If you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
right here
and anywhere you find a podcast. Thanks for watching.